Here we have our 2021 Thor Tellaro B-Class camper van. We recently took a trip to Boyd's Campground in Key West, Florida, and to do that trip we had to buy a few things to make it successful. What I'm going to talk to you about today are some of the things that we purchased in order to have this camping trip be successful, and some of the things that we like and maybe disliked about the Tellaro. The first thing I want to talk about is this, the bike rack. The bike rack is made by Tulle. It is a very good bike rack, very sturdy. Once we had our bikes on there, we never were worried about them coming off. The bikes themselves are two electric bikes, and they're about 60 pounds each. The problem comes in with the height of the bike rack. The height of the bike rack makes it pretty hard for somebody like myself anyway to load and unload the actual bikes. As you can see from this, there are adjustment knobs throughout the bike rack, and you have to be able to reach them to get to adjust it so that you can put the bike on. Some of these adjustment knobs are way up on the top of the bike rack, and as you can see here, that'd be quite a stretch for somebody like myself. I mean, that's probably a good 8 foot off the ground anyway. So I have to employ a ladder to make sure that I can get the bikes on and off properly. I used a ladder at home, and then when I got to the campsite, I actually used the ladder that comes with the Tellaro. So now I'm going to do a quick sped up video so that you can see how it is to load and unload the bikes off of the Tellaro. So here's the bike on the bike rack. It's on there very well. I can shake the bike and you can see that it is very sturdy. I could even tighten up these straps on the wheels even more to make it a little bit more sturdy. The adjustable knobs that hold the frame near the top are lockable. You can twist them really tight and then lock it, and so they can't be untwisted back off. All in all, like I said, a very solid bike rack. I could put the other bike on here and it'll hold it very strong, doesn't flex, doesn't bend. Very good bike rack. The only problem being the height. Okay, the next thing I want to talk to you about is inside. So let's open up the back door. I do want to mention, although you will probably be warned by many people and even the dealership, that this bike rack is in a really bad height location for opening and shutting the door. It's a good handle maybe when you're opening and shutting the door. However, the minute you decide you're going to shut the door and you don't realize it, boom, you're going to get smacked in the back of the head by the bike rack. And although I was warned, it happened to me anyway. So just keep that in mind, something you have to really watch out for. Now, this is what I'm calling my garage space down here, and as you can see, I've got two bins. The top bin is the fresh and clean water bin, and then the bottom bin is the dirty black water, gray water tools that I use. These bins fit in here very nicely, and then I've got my power cord sitting over here on the side, and that fits in there pretty nicely as well. In the door, I have my two dog bones here, and then over on this door, I have my surge protector. Now let me pull them all out and let you see what they look like, which units they are, and I'll put a link in the description in case you're interested in any of those things. So let's start off talking about some of the electrical equipment that we purchased for this van. This is a 30 amp surge protector made by Progressive Industries. I looked it up. The reviews were really good on Amazon, and that's where I bought it, was on Amazon. It's not the most expensive, definitely not the cheapest one out there either, but if you're going to go camping, you absolutely need to have one of these. You never know what kind of power you're going to get at these campgrounds you're going to be visiting. So next, let's talk about the power cord. I got this power cord free of charge from La Mesa RV. The interesting part is you can go out and spend 80 to 100K on a brand new RV and still not get all the equipment that you need to actually go camping. So the power cord was an accessory that was thrown in, kind of like the sewer line. It did not come with a sewer line, so I did have to go out and purchase a sewer line separately. It just seems weird that that be the case, but it is what it is. Here we have the 50 amp to 30 amp dog bone. Very important to have this, as some campgrounds do not have 30 amp, they have 50 amp. So you'll have to plug your 50 amp in, plug the cord into the 30 amp side, and you should be good to go from there out. I also purchased this 30 amp to 15 amp, which is a 110 volt dog bone. What this allows me to do is plug into a 110 outlet. So in my garage, for example, I have a 110 outlet that is a 15 amp, and I can plug this into the outlet in the garage and then take this other end and plug it into the 30 amp side and then plug this into the RV. And I have done that, and I have been able to run everything, including the air condition, all from the garage plug, which is a nice thing to have. On our first trip, we were able to test every one of these electrical components, and they all worked perfectly. So that was a plus for us. Now we're sure on our next voyage that we're going to be okay. So here we have the totes that I use in the, quote, garage space that I have within the back of the RV. It's important to get the right size to fit in there and to maximize the space. I'll do my best to get the dimensions and put those in the description below, but I was able to put this along with all my electrical equipment in that space behind the door that I'm calling the garage space. Here we have the water filter kit that I purchased, along with the pressure regulator and the 90-degree elbow that connects up to the side of the RV. As you can see, there's a bit of discoloration happening to these. The reason for that is because I didn't put the carbon filter into a plastic bag initially. And what ended up happening is when I put them in the tote, some water from the carbon filter came out along with water that was inside the hose and corroded, got onto the elements here and corroded it. So now I keep the filter itself into a Ziploc bag just to protect all the other elements within the clean water bin. Over on the side here, I purchased a 0G hose, a flex hose. And the reason why I purchased this 0G flex hose was because I wanted to make sure that I had enough length, and it's 50 foot, and they're a lot easier to shove into kind of that bin that we have here for the clean water. They're a lot more flexible and easier to store. So I decided that I'd go with the flexible one, and it's worked out great for me so far. So over here on the right side, we bought another hose, and this hose we purposely bought an orange hose to let it stand out a little bit more. This hose is considered something that you could use to drink water out of, but because we're using it for black water and for cleaning our sewer, we wanted to make sure we could separate them. This will not be used for drinking water. This bin is just for our sewer lines and the equipment to clean. So now keen eyes are probably saying to themselves, well, where is the sewer line? I see the connection, I see your hose, but where's the sewer line? And that would be a very good question to ask. And if anybody out there can explain to me the logic behind this, I would love to hear it. So let me just show you the problem. One of the big problems I feel with the Tellaro is on this side of the RV, you have here a nice little door where you're supposed to be able to put a sewer hose. Go ahead and try to do that, and you will find that it is impossible to put any type of sewer hose in there of any significance. So that was one of the main problems that we faced before we even left to go on our first camping trip, is where do you put the sewer hose, especially after it's dirty. I mean, you're not going to want to put it back inside the RV, right? So I developed a quick solution so that we could continue on our trip, and I'll show you it here. And what I did is I went to Home Depot and I bought myself a 4-inch sewer line. On the other end, I've got a cap that I've glued on. On this end here, I've got a twist off cap. And as you can see, voila, that's where I'm keeping my sewer line for right now. So let me go get some gloves on. I'll pop it out and you can see what we've got going on here. So now that I've got some gloves on, I can show you exactly how this comes in and out. You just simply pull it. I'm not going to pull it all the way out, but you can see it's very easy to pull out and very easy to put back in. The end here stops it from going down too far so it doesn't get lost inside there. Putting the cap on is pretty straightforward too. It's just a screw-on cap. I usually go ahead and put it on finger tight to start off with, and then I'll have to go to the toolbox and grab some channel locks to kind of tighten it down. The last thing you want to do is be driving down the road and this cap to come loose and lose your sewer hose. The other thing I want you to notice is I've got this on by zip ties right now. It's kind of a temporary installation, but I've got probably 15 to 20 zip ties holding this in place right now. And don't think it's not sturdy, because here I am shaking it and you can see it's not budging. So it's on there quite well. It's not going anywhere. And as for ground clearance, which was kind of the next concern that I was worried about, you can see the generator and the rear axle over here are actually lower to the ground than this is. So I'm not really too worried about the ground clearance being an issue as well. Now underneath the Tellaro, you do have a lot of open spaces to do kind of neat little things like this. There is no spare tire, and in another video I'm going to show you what I've done to resolve the spare tire issue. I don't know what they were thinking though when it came to the sewer line. Not having an appropriate place to put it, it doesn't make any sense to me at all, and I'm not sure how they got away with that. But this is a fix that I have right now. Looking for other ideas as well though. Last but not least, we carry a nice toolkit with us. This is a small compact toolkit, but inside of it I have wrenches, both metric and US. I have screwdrivers of all different sizes and shapes. I have channel locks, vice grips. I really have all the basic tools you could possibly need. I even carry a hammer in there just in case. We also carry duct tape, electrical tape, some epoxy, super glue, and double-sided tape and Velcro. I mean, these are all relatively small items that can be made and used and make a big difference when you're traveling down the road and you get in maybe a compromised position. And then here's just one more quick look at everything tucked back away. You know, I call this the garage space. I guess that's kind of the way it's supposed to be called. Just get a little close-up of this because I know somebody's going to ask me about that. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video. We have other videos that are coming up here in the near future. They're going to talk about some of the things that we purchased for the inside. And as I mentioned, the spare tire situation that is non-existent, we've got that solved as well. So if you want to see how we do all those things, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll have them out real soon. Thank you.